everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening because we are back with another Driven Community Seminar. And I am so excited to have you guys, and I'm so excited for you guys to meet our two guests for this evening. Okay, so before we get into that, there's a lot of new people here, so I definitely want you guys to get a little bit of background about me and what Driven By is all about. So for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Deandra, and I am the founder of Driven By Co. Now, what is Driven By all about? Driven By is all about having you identify what it is that drives you. Now, there's a huge reason for that. There's a huge reason for identifying that core driving factor within you, because we want you to live a life of passion and of fulfillment. And if you can identify what it is that drives you and build your path forward based on that, then you'll never need to watch a motivational video ever again in your life. Ever again. Because you won't need to be pushed by any outside force. You will be driven by what's within. So that is what we do here at Driven By. We are focused on your personal development. So encouraging you to engage in those self-reflections and identify what that is, what that core purpose, what that core drive is. And so we help you along with that with professional development opportunities such as this. Our seminars, every month, we try to bring in different speakers so they can give you tips and nuggets for all of the secrets, well, they're not secrets anymore, of success. So besides that, we also have motivational apparel. So we've got Driven By right on our clothing. That's available on our website. We also have online courses, a mixture of free and paid courses. So there's a lot that you can take advantage of on our website. Again, the webinars and seminars, online resources that you can download from our website. And we also have community initiatives. So we want to get together and do something positive for the community. So for those of you who are not already connected with me online on social media, please do that now. On Instagram, we are at Driven By Co. All right, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time because there's some great value coming up later on in this seminar. So before we get started, I do have some housekeeping rules, okay? Just to remind you, this is a safe space. There is no place, no tolerance for any sort of hate speech, bullying, or negativity. The two guests that are on here tonight have volunteered their time to help you guys in any capacity, whether you're a buyer, a seller, or someone in the real estate industry. They've volunteered their time to help you. Also, please keep your mic muted unless you have a question, and we are going to hold the questions until the end. Now, thank you to all of you who have put the question in the registration form, because I've taken those questions to make sure those get answered, okay? But at the end of the questions, we are going to have a Q&A period so that you can directly ask our guest speakers, okay? Awesome. Okay, let's get right into it. So it is with great pleasure that I introduce to you our two pros in real estate tonight. So first up, we have Tori Akini. She is a realtor with ESP. That's her brokerage. So she covers the Hamilton and surrounding areas, and she also helps others to get their real estate license. So if you are on that path, she is someone that you need to connect with tonight and also offline after this call, okay? And we also have Sara Saradnicki. If you have been connected with Driven By, you have seen her face. We have been connected for some time now, but she is a realtor with Upper Side Real Estate Limited. She's been trading for 7 years. I'm telling you, she's a pro. She knows what she's talking about. She covers the GTA region, so that's specifically York, Toronto, and Peel. And if you guys are connected with her online, you will know that she is very passionate about supporting small businesses. She really gives back to the community. So if you are also a small business, you want to get connected with her as well offline after this call. So thank you so much, Sara and Tori, for being here tonight. And thank you to everyone who is here on the call to listen in. We're going to jump right into it. So I'm going to give you guys a question right away. And why did you guys decide to get into real estate?
Hi, guys. Welcome, everyone. Thank you, Deandra, for hosting. And thank you, Tori, for joining arms with me for this seminar tonight. So where do I begin? I started in the real estate industry about 9 years ago. I started to get my license. And to rewind a little bit more, when I left high school, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do full time. So I worked in retail management for 15 years. And then when I was about 31, I decided to jump in and get my license. The industry always intrigued me. The one thing that really pulled me in was the fact that you can do so many different things with your license in different stages of your life. So I took the plunge, and now I've been trading for the past 7 years in the Greater Toronto area, and I love everything about it.
That's awesome. And my pleasure being here with you ladies, and as well as everybody else on the call. To answer that question, with me, similar to Sarah, real estate was not, I don't know about other people on the call, but real estate was definitely not my first go-to career when I thought what was going to be my career. So it wasn't necessarily something that I had planned, but it was always something that I had an interest in. And when a series of events happened, at the beginning of the pandemic, I actually was laid off of my previous job that I was going to go to. And I took that time to really nail things down, go to school online, get my license. And since then, it's been such an amazing experience where I'm now even tutoring other people and helping coach other people get their license as well. So that's just a little bit about how I got into it.
I love that you guys are coming from two different perspectives. So for everyone joining us tonight, we're going to have two different perspectives to share so that wherever you're coming from, you'll find value in tonight. So I want to know, what do you two love about your job? What do you love about real estate?
For me, I am a people person. So I really enjoy connecting with people, and I especially enjoy just helping families to go on to that next path in their journey. So helping people to really sift through like hundreds of homes in the market and just be able to find the one that meets not only their needs, but also their future needs as well. So I really enjoy that process of getting to know a family or an individual and seeing where they are in their journey and being able to connect a house and turn that into a home for them.
I have to say, so Tori and I met about a year ago, and we align so well with each other because my main focus is building relationships, building lasting relationships with my clients, and in turn, helping them make the right move. I love that about my business, and I also love the fact that I've been trading for 7 years. So don't get me wrong, I've done a hard grind to get to where I am today, but I do love the freedom of uh, that I'm basically allowed to create my own success. So my efforts in turn allow me to have my success. So having the freedom of my own schedule and being able to be my own boss has been very amazing over the last 7 years too.
That is wonderful. And you know what? Before we go any further, I think we need to know who's in our audience. What perspective are you guys coming from? So I've created a poll question, and if you guys are on the computer, you will be able to see it. So you can click the answer. So we're asking, what perspective are you coming from? Are you looking to become a realtor? Are you already a realtor? Are you a buyer or are you a seller? We've got some realtors in the audience. Amazing. We've got a lot of realtors in the house, or prospective realtors. This is amazing. You are in the right place tonight, let me tell you that. And there's a seller. Awesome. We've got some answers as well. So we've got 5 votes for realtor, 2 votes for looking to become a realtor. And then in the chat, we also have sellers looking to get licensed, people doing the course. Amazing, amazing. So this is going to help direct Tori and Sarah as they answer your questions to make sure that they're giving you the answers that you're looking for. We also have a student taking legal admin. Amazing. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll and then we can continue on with the questions, but this is great information for Sarah and Tori to know. So our next question is, what does it take to be successful in real estate?
I would definitely say when you're first starting out, because I know there's a lot of new people on here that are getting their license and they're brand spanking new. I would definitely get in contact with Tori, because she can help guide you with all the new measures and teachings that are in the courses now. I'm a little old school, so I can definitely help out with any questions you guys have too. But I would definitely say education is key. Also, if you have the opportunity to join a team and or partner up with a seasoned real estate agent, very, very important to allow you to gain knowledge and to get hands-on experience when you're put out into the industry, because it can be very intense. But as long as you lead with honesty and integrity, and you want to do a good job, and you stick to it, you can make it happen.
Those are great points. And to add to that, I would definitely say consistency, because that is like one of the crucial pillars in real estate. There are, I want to say hundreds, if not thousands of realtors just in Canada alone. So to really be able to stand out from others, you want to make sure that you're building that relationship with the client and that they trust you. There's been a lot of research and polls done by agencies in Canada, finding out what are clients' number one thing they're looking for in a realtor. And a lot of people would think that it would be the brokerage they're working with or the brand that they have, but it wasn't. The number one response that all clients wanted in a realtor was trust. So you definitely want to build up that trust with each and every client and each and every opportunity that you have. And one way to build up trust is being consistent. So especially when you give follow-ups or you say you'll call back at this date or time, make sure you keep your word. Follow up with that, stay consistent with them, show them that you're interested in them as a person and helping their journey, not just them as a transaction. Yeah, those would be my tips.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Now, maybe we can go a little deeper, and I want to ask, are there specific things that you guys have done that have contributed to your success?
With me particularly, I would say a lot of my success has come from networking. So real estate, I learned very quickly, is not a career that you do on your own, even though a lot of people may think it would be, but it definitely is not. It is a team sport, and when you have a good network and a good atmosphere around you, it can really help you to propel and be in places that you never thought you would. So even I just hit my 1 year mark in the business, and even looking at my own numbers, thank you, Sarah, even looking at my own numbers, I've seen that about 70% of all of my business and sales have come from networking, from referrals from other agents who are out of town and things like that. So I think that's definitely a aspect that not a lot of people think to go to, and not a lot of people think to pour much time into. But again, like real estate is a career where you can make it your own. So you definitely can find little niches and different things to stand out and be able to make your way.
I definitely agree with everything Tori just said. And just to add a little bit more, like one of the key statements that I have on my vision board, and that I've used from pretty much the very start, is the fortune is in the follow-up. So basically, when you're first starting out, you might seem nervous to, connect with people. But if you follow up and you stay, like Tori said, stay consistent, consistency is key with, following up with your clients or your leads. It will come back to you. Another thing is presence on like the web. There's a lot of free resources like social. There's a campaign that I use. It's called MailChimp. I know it's a free platform, but you know what? When you're getting started, I can honestly tell you, like in the last 5 years, I've had about 5 or 6 people that I was connected with through someone else, or I met them somewhere, and they literally emailed me, and we went and bought a house a month later. So like having those key little things in your business definitely helps out, but definitely the fortunes in the follow-up. Always follow up with your clients and your leads.
And now for all the prospective realtors in the audience, we have a big question for Tori here, asking, how does one go about getting into real estate as a career?
It's a very long-winded question. The best thing to do is honestly check out my YouTube channel, Tori and Realty. And I have a bunch of videos on all the requirements to get started, but very high level. Like all you need to do is be a Canadian citizen, over 18 years old, and have a high school diploma or equivalent of education that you've completed in English. And that's basically all you need to apply. $75 admin fee. And then what's really great, it's a whole new system to get your license. It's only through Humber College right now, and it is a pay-as-you-go program, which is really nice. So you pay for one course at a time. So there's 5 courses to complete, and of those 5 courses, only 4 of them have exams. So you do those to pass, and then there's also 2 simulation courses to do. Everything is completely online. They did have the exams, and the simulation classes were mandatory in person, but with the pandemic and everything, they've made everything completely virtual. So even me, myself, I completed my whole, except for one exam right before COVID, I completed everything else online. So it's something that you have up to 2 years to complete. So some people take 4 months, people who go at it full time, people who probably don't have kids or a job or anything, but you definitely can complete it anywhere from 4 months to 2 years. Me particularly, I took 6 months to complete it. I see a question there. What are the simulation classes like? Again, I have a video just on the simulation classes, but the simulation classes can either be 1 week of learning, Monday to Friday from 9 to 5. It's on Zoom the whole day. It is a whole lot of information being thrown at you, so you really have to make sure you're paying attention. But the examination for it is solely based on what you learn in that week, which is a little bit easier. Or the alternative is you can take the simulations over 2 or 3 weekends, which are Saturdays and Sundays. So depending on what your time frame is like. But that is generally how you get your license high level. But like I said, I have videos on all the requirements, the passing grades, funding the courses, a bunch of tips and stuff with exams and things like that. So if you have any more questions about that, feel free to send me a message.
Thank you so much, Tori. And there was another question that popped up in the chat, which is also one of the questions we had from before about finding leads and lead generation. So if you ladies wanted to kind of give a little bit of insight onto how you guys find leads or some tips to do that.
To be honest, there are a lot of different applications you can purchase and get leads that way. For me, I'm a little old school. I built my business originally from my sphere of influence. So I do recommend reaching out to people that you know, because it will just create a trickle effect. In the beginning, it depends on also what brokerage you join. Like I have been responsible for all of my own leads because I'm in what they call like a boutique brokerage where they don't have a system where they generate leads. But there are some brokerages like big box brokerages where they will give you leads. So there's that route as well. But I would say starting with your sphere of influence. And Tori, if you want to add in, I know you have some newer ways of generating leads too.
Leads, I would say to get leads, you definitely have to come out of your comfort zone. So you're either going to come out of your comfort zone and pay out of pocket for it, some very pretty dollars, or you'll come out of your comfort zone and have to just go out and talk to people. So there's a lot of lead generation companies which you can pay monthly subscriptions anywhere from $200 up to $10,000 a month just to get leads. And it also depends on what type of leads you get. You can get cold leads, you can get warm leads, you can get buyer leads, you can get seller leads. So that is all in its a realm in itself. But definitely starting off, I would say, like Sara said, is just start off with your sphere of influence. And one thing I always hear from so many people starting off is they always say, well, none of my family and friends are looking to buy or sell. And that's okay. That was the same with me when I started. What is more important is that when you reach out to your sphere of influence, you're letting them know that you are a licensed agent and you are able to help them with their real estate needs. And so that they can now go to their family and friends and their sphere of influence and share that knowledge about you. So that when they hear someone talking about buying or selling, they can say, oh yeah, you know what? My cousin Tori, my friend Tori, my whoever is a realtor. Why don't I connect you? So a big thing about getting leads is not necessarily just knowing people who are going to buy and sell, but it's literally just exposing yourself to as many different people and atmospheres as you can, And again, networking. So one of the things I was adamant in doing in the beginning of my career is networking with not just people that I know, but a lot of different vendors that are related to the real estate field. And that also helped me to achieve a lot of success as well. So
I have to say, Tori, I'm very impressed with how you launched your career. I've seen you from like the very beginning, and I started off slow in the beginning because I was working full time, so I wasn't really into the swing of things full time until like a year in. But you've positioned yourself very well.
And that's a really good point too, because a lot of people don't start real estate full time. With me, I took the leap of faith and I left my other job and then went into real estate full time. So doing it full time, you obviously have more time to dedicate to it. But a lot of people I know are doing it part time or even just less than part time and kind of just periodically. So it really also depends on what your lifestyle is like as well. I see a question there on how to approach your sphere of influence. That is a very good point in itself. You know what? I should do a YouTube video on that. Maybe we could all do a YouTube video on that. But
Sounds
that is
good.
a very good question. You don't want to approach your family and friends saying, "Hi, I'm a realtor now. Are you looking to buy or sell your home?" Like I would say, like, especially with me, one of my key pillars in my business is building a relationship. So I just like to touch base with people, see how they're doing, especially in the pandemic. A lot of things are going crazy. So just check in with people and see how they are. And honestly, your career will just naturally come into the conversation. So don't try and push it or force it, but definitely just look at building that relationship first and trust. Once they trust you, when certain things or opportunities like that come up, you will be first and forefront in their mind.
Definitely. And I would say to add to that is if you're already on social media, like obviously technology is our future. It's really good to have a presence on social media that you are in real estate, so that people that already know you can say, oh yeah, Sarah's doing real estate now, or Tori's doing real estate now. And then it'll be in the back of their mind, because when I first started, like obviously, I didn't partner up with my partner until like 3 years in. And I kind of like worked my way around like trial and error. But what I'm getting at is like there's a few people that I grew up with that I used to go to bars with and I used to hang out with, and in the band in high school. And like I know I'm telling a random story, but there's someone that I knew for many, many years, and like 4 years into my career, he reached out to me and said, "Hey Sarah, I need help to sell my parents' house and I need to buy." So it's like you might not get the lead and the business right then and there, but you're gonna put it out there into the world and it will come back to you. So it's just something to keep in mind too, to build up that presence within your sphere online too is important.
And I have to say, I agree so much. And I think that building those relationships are so important. And Sarah and I have been connected for quite some time. Tori, we've just gotten connected through Sarah. Actually, we are so connected. We know what's going on in each other's lives. So anytime I think of a real estate opportunity, the first person that comes to my mind is Sarah. So I think you guys want to be that person for your sphere of influence as well.
Definitely. And you can do it. It doesn't have to be forceful, like Tori said. Like you don't want to like walk up to people and be like, "Hey, I'm a realtor now." You need to be just needs to be like building up your presence online, sharing, buying tips, sharing a listing in your brokerage. Just make sure that it's okay that you share it on your social, just to build up your presence, so that when people go and look you up, they can see, oh, they've been busy or whatnot, and then they'll remember you. And the business will come, but it's a process. So just remember that, not to be too hard on yourself when you're starting out, for sure.
I've got a question, and then there's one more in the chat that we'll get to right after this one. But this was a question that came in through the registration, and this was about cold calling. So when it comes to cold calling, what are some good lines to use to get people to meet with you?
I don't really have a lot to say because I don't cold call. I used to, but I don't do it anymore. Like on the phone, I don't do it anymore. I do like a letter drop style. So Deandra knows me pretty well. Tori knows me pretty good too. I'm a very honest person. So like cold calling, I just don't feel like it's authentic. That's just me. So when I have a legitimate buyer, like if I have a legitimate buyer that I'm looking to buy with, and you know the inventory is really low, then I will do like a letter drop on a specific area or street, and then I get calls from that. So I do technically cold call, but it's more of like a soft call because I do have a legitimate buyer that I can bring to the home that could potentially buy the home, right? So if anyone wants to know like about the letter and what I say and whatnot, it might be easier to do it one-on-one because it's on a case-by-case basis.
Myself, I did do a lot of cold calling in the beginning. It was very awkward. It wasn't easy, but it's something, the more you do it, the more you get used to it. So anybody's first calls in the beginning, you're going to be stuttering. You're not going to know what to say. Someone's going to give you a rebuttal and you're just going to be like, okay, thanks, bye. But
So true.
the important thing is to pick up the phone and get back at it. You will get angry people calling you saying, I don't have time for this, or I don't want to deal with another realtor. Everybody has a different experience. But again, like one of my pillars in everything I do is building a relationship. So I have done a lot of cold calling and I would say I'm pretty good at it now. And my focus whenever I speak to someone is not about whether they're looking to buy or sell, but it's building that relationship with them. So if I'm talking to them and I hear kids in the background, I'll mention that. I'll say, oh, do you have a young family? Or, oh, something like that. If I hear a dog, or if you're talking to someone and they're in a rush or something like that. Like you always want to recognize that person and whatever situation they're going through. And then depending on how the call is going, like when I'm cold calling, one of my main points is always to provide some kind of value. So I always either offer them a free home evaluation or offer that to set them up on a neighborhood watch where they can keep an eye on the home sales in their neighborhood, or I try and find some kind of way where I can build that relationship up with them. So you can there's times where I've called, I don't know, maybe 50 to 60 people in a day and
That's impressive.
had one or two successful calls. So it's not an easy job, but it is a method to build your book of business because you'll make those 50 calls, but then you'll get that one person who actually did need a realtor, and then you can help them and have a good transaction off of that. And cold calling is very similar to even door knocking. So with COVID and everything, it's been very cautious, but with everything starting to open back up, they have allowed open houses, they have allowed door knocking and things like that now. So you'll start to see more and more of that happening. But it's just another form to generate leads.
I love what you said about, even though, you're going to get those no's, you're going to get angry people, you got to keep trying. And I think it's important to detach yourself from the results. Don't take it to heart if someone says no. Like Tamara said in the chat, rejection is inevitable. And I think that the most successful people have heard the most no's.
True.
Yep.
Right? Sara, you in your career, you've probably heard so many no's, and it's not always a no. It's just a no for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So the one thing I just want to say, I recommend trying out cold calling. It is for a lot of people. Just for me in my career, I did it for a period of time, and I couldn't get into it because it just wasn't for me. But I do recommend trying it though, definitely.
What would you guys say is a realistic first year goal for a new realtor?
So that has so many different factors. I'm assuming you mean like salary wise. I think on average, I read the statistic the other day. I think on average, most realtors make between, I think, 60 and 70,000 a year. But that number has a lot of part-time realtors as well. So they say, what is it this saying, Sara? I think it's 10% of the realtors make like 80% of the business or something like that. So it depends if you're doing it full-time, if you're doing it part-time. It depends if you're a realtor in the GTA versus a realtor in St. Catharines or London, where the average sale price is a whole lot lower. So like me and another realtor I know in London, she's actually done more transactions than I have, but my transaction top dollar is almost double just because the average price homes in my area is so much more than that area. So starting off in your first year, if you want to make your own personal goal, I say just do something outrageous. See if you can achieve it. That's what I did, and I was able to achieve it. So
I love it.
just set whatever number you think is like, well, that's really high. Set that as your goal, and then you got to make steps to achieve that. And if you need help with that, feel free to reach out. I can always have a conversation, and we can work out some numbers and things like that. But generally.
And I would say for me, because my first year I was part-time, so I can honestly say, like, if you're going to be full-time and you can commit the time, education is key. You can go to Tori for that. And also setting a high goal is definitely, I highly recommend that too, because you might not get there, but you might get really close. A lot of the realtors in the city, in the core, some of them only have their license to trade like for their family and or a builder. Like they work for a builder and they only trade with that builder. So there's a lot of opportunities out there for everybody who has a real estate license. You can carve out your own, spot in the industry, and there's enough for everybody to go around. So just keep that in mind. Definitely discipline in the first year though, to reach a realistic goal, I would say, is you got to be disciplined too. You got to have that drive. Oh, I know you like that, Deandra.
Of course. So we're going to switch gears a little bit. There's a lot of questions coming in. So this one was, would a real estate firm benefit from having a legal office admin or assistant on staff?
I would definitely say they would benefit from it. The only thing is that in my experiences, knowing a lot of different realtors and brokerages and whatnot, it's a really high cost to be able to have someone in-house. I haven't really seen it actually at all. I'm sure some of the bigger brokerages, they do have one that's accessible to come to drop in, but I just don't think that the cost is there for them to take that on.
And again, it all depends on that brokerage's book of business and what kind of volume they're doing. So ideally, I'm sure everybody would love to have a personal admin assistant doing all your paperwork and your transactions and things like that for you, but it's at what cost? So do you have the budget to do that right now? Do you have the budget to maybe do a virtual assistant, someone who's more remote, or do you need to just budget the time and do it yourself? So there's a bunch of factors that would come into play, but it is definitely something you want to work towards. So to build up your book of business where you can carry that monthly cost comfortably.
So I just want to add to that, because Jennifer is working towards becoming a legal assistant, right? I would definitely say, like, I've never seen it happen, but I would network brokerages. Like when she's licensed, when she has her certification, I would definitely network brokerages where you wouldn't necessarily be in-house, but get your business card out there for potential business for your business, right? I would say that that's a definite opportunity for her when she's licensed.
Now, there's another question in the chat, very real estate specific. So when is the best time to ask a potential client to sign a buyer representation agreement or listing agreement?
So I tell people, real estate, you get to decide how you want to do your business. So there are some realtors out there who they will not come out of their home unless a buyer representation agreement is signed. And that's perfectly okay, because then you know that basically it's less of a risk of wasting your time. You know that this client is committed to you and you are committed to helping this client find a home. So if that's how you want to do your business, that's no problem. You just position yourself that way to your clients in obviously a friendly and professional way, but just know ahead of time that that will lower the amount of clients that you deal with, likely. But those clients that you do get and that agree to that, those are more solid clients maybe that you want to be dealing with. So especially if you're doing real estate part-time, maybe that's a strategy that you want to do because you don't have so much time to just be going out and doing showings and stuff like that. With me particularly, how I like to do my business is I will go out on one tour with clients. So I'll go out on one tour, we'll see 4 or 5 homes. I can get to know them, they can get to know me, and then usually after they've seen a couple homes, they have a better idea as to what type of home they're looking for. We got to make sure they have their pre-approval and everything, those things done. So that's how I like to do my business. But some people don't do the BRA until you even have a offer, until there's an actual home that you want to put an offer on. So again, in real estate, you get to choose how you want to make your rules, and you just do what you're comfortable with requiring of people. And it also depends on the client and how comfortable they are with you.
So just to add to that, believe it or not, I don't lead with a buyer rep at all. I've only been burned a handful of times in my entire career, but it stems back to me building the relationship and building that rapport with someone. I do recommend that if people want to have the buyer rep signed in the beginning, that's completely fair. There are courses that you can take to help you, feel confident in presenting it. I've always based my business on the experience in building that relationship. And a lot of my business that I have now is referral based. So what I'm getting at is I don't sign agreements until like we're ready to go. Some clients like that I've had for a few years now, and we've done a few transactions, I do get the paperwork out of the way right away, just so we don't have to worry about it after. But I do recommend figuring out what's right for you, and then go from there for sure.
We're going to switch gears again. There was a question from the seller perspective. So what are the most essential must-dos when preparing to sell your home to maximize your dollar?
Well, right now in this market, you can sell anything. Sorry, go ahead, Tori. I want to hear what you have to say.
That's good. It's true. You can sell anything, but the key thing is for the top dollar. So I had a scenario, I won't go into too much details, but there was one house, I co-listed a home with another agent. We had our house professionally cleaned. It was staged, and we had professional photos and videos done. About 3-4 houses down the street was a seller who tried to sell it themselves. And it actually was a nicer looking home with more upgrades, but they didn't present it well. And our house ended up selling $150,000 more than that house that had more upgrades. So presentation is everything. If you want to sell your house for top dollar, you have to invest in it. So a deep clean before the house goes on the market is so, so crucial. A lot of people are used to seeing their home every day. There's certain dirts and dust that you just don't notice. But when people are coming into the home for the first time to view it, there's so many things that you normally would just disregard, which will stick out to people. And once they see something that's a bit sketchy, then they start to think other things in the home is sketchy, and they start to question other things. Uh-huh. So I would say presentation is everything. Staging the home is very key. Staging can cost anywhere from $50 to $5,000. So it all depends on the home, but you don't have to go all out, but definitely having things look proper for video and good photos. So that definitely makes a difference. Those would be the key things I would say, presentation.
For sure. I definitely agree with all of that. One thing, kind of a different perspective, but I would definitely say that the seller needs to be confident in their timeline. Not only like the timeline for preparing the house, but the timeline on what their next move will be. Because when it comes to the negotiating table, you want to make sure that you have everything set properly. So what I'm getting at is timeline is crucial, because that can be a negotiating piece for the seller. If they know, you know what, I'm going to be going here in a month, then I can have my timeline ready to be able to stage and do all those things, and then have that on the negotiating table for when you're selling it. The timeline is key. Very important to have a specific timeline on all the different steps before and after and during selling.
For sure. And that's something you're really going to rely on your realtor for, is helping you to set a proper time frame. So I have seen it in the past where a client needed a house to close very quickly. And so she did end up compromising on the price because she really wanted to get a certain sale date. So that is a really, really good point.
So we have time for a couple more questions. So if you guys have any burning questions, throw them in the chat right now. Now, there was another one. This is a really good question, actually, on how to set a consistent schedule. So what to do weekly in order to set ourselves up for success in getting leads and acquiring more knowledge. So what does your success schedule look like?
For me, a key thing is time blocking. You time block everything from getting dressed to having lunch to picking up my daughter from school. Like, I literally like to time block everything and kind of just budget in wiggle time. But that's the first step to getting organized. And in that time blocking, you want to set time every day for instance, prospecting. So ways to reach out to new clients. You want to set time for building up your brand, building up social media content, posts or videos, TikToks, tweets, all of that stuff. You want to budget time for that. You want to budget time for building your business. You want to budget time for training, educating yourself and attaining more knowledge about a specific niche or a specific market or something of that sorts. You want to budget time for showings, going out with clients and actually doing the showings and doing your business. And you also want to budget personal time, downtime to relax and rejuvenate yourself so that you can continue to help others.
I definitely agree with all that. To add a little bit more in there, I actually have a vision board that I've used for almost my entire career, where I have it I have my yearly goal, I have my monthly goal, and then I have it broken down to daily and weekly tasks. So a lot of what I do is it was like in the beginning, it was trial and error. So when you find something that is working for you, that is leading you to success in your career, you got to keep doing that over and over and over again.
So the next question is, if a home is outdated and the seller does not want to make updates, is there a way to attract builders to purchase it over an individual?
Biggest thing to attract builders is lower the price.
Yeah, that's why I did that.
Every builder is looking for a good deal. So that'll definitely attract builders. Another way to attract other agents to kind of bring more buyer clients is to increase the commission. So the commission that you're offering to the cooperating brokerage, like depending on what area, whatever the typical commission may be, going up 0.5% or 0.25% or whatever, just to add that extra edge to entice other agents to bring more business. But that's what comes to mind for me.
I would say also maybe doing like I know we don't really do too many open houses in the GTA just yet, but doing an agent open house, because there could be potential, not necessarily like a builder, but there could be like other people who do like flipping and whatnot. And there might be some agents that do it themselves too, to attract more potential buyers. An agent open house would be good too.
And I think we've got time for one more question. And the one in the chat is, I've been doing open houses for other agents in the brokerage to prospect. Is this worth it?
Yes, it is so worth it. It is time, because you're literally sitting at a house for like 2, 3, 4 hours. And if there's not a lot of activity, then it can seem not worth it. But I actually was just talking to another agent last weekend who had that same thing. I think 2 or 3 people came to the open house. And although she didn't get any business from it, she was posting content on her social media. So I said that in itself is great, because one, it's helping you being consistent on social media. And 2, it's also giving people the impression that you have more business than you actually do. So definitely take those on when other agents are away or too busy to do their open houses, because you never know when that one time is going to come where that one actual client will come in and you'll be able to work with them off of that and get a good deal. So
definitely agree with all that. And I've earned clients from open houses. I brought the buyer to the offer night. It doesn't always happen, but like Tori said, it's really good also for exposure to show your current community and audience that you know you are working. But also it allows you to talk to people, right? Like you're in the setting of the home at an open house, you're the agent on duty. So it gives you practice in interacting and talking to people about real estate. So it's a really good way to get your foot in the door for sure.
Yeah, and a really good way to generate leads, because even if they don't actually purchase that home, then you can set them up on a search where now you can help them find another home, and they are a serious buyer if they're qualified and everything like that. But good potential.
Ladies, thank you so much, Tori and Sara. You have given us so much value. I'm sure everyone in the audience learned so much tonight. And everyone here, I want you guys to connect with Sara and Tori. So whether you are on Instagram or LinkedIn, or there are other ways to get connected with them. So following this meeting, I'm going to be sending out each of their links. So they'll have a list of links where you can get connected to Tori's YouTube or anything else that might be of value to you. So please check your inbox if you registered through that form. Check your inbox for that link after this, or probably tomorrow. But I just wanted to say to everyone here, thank you so much for joining our How to Rocket in Real Estate seminar tonight. Also get connected with me online at Driven by Co, because we try to have these seminars every month, and we bring in different speakers and different leaders so that you can learn a little bit more about the different industries. So I hope to see you at the next session. And Sara and Tori, I cannot thank you enough for dropping all of your knowledge, all of your on these amazing people tonight.
Thank you so much for hosting, Deandra, and Tori for joining in on the seminar. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much, everyone. We hope that you guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll see you soon.